Welcome along to another video. I'm Matt over at DSR, and today I am taking out this perfection. Just look at this Ducati Panigale V4 for 2023. Thank you very much to riders in Bridgewater for lending me this today. I'm going to get out and enjoy this. Let's get straight to it. The Ducati's engine completely speaks for itself. It's got the Desmo Sedici, probably desecrating that, engine in it, 1103cc, 123 newton meters of torque. That's alright, it's not too bad. It's the brake horsepower. This bike has 215.5 brake horsepower. Absolutely insane. Is it too much brake horsepower for the UK roads? I'm going to come out and say it probably is. Let's get straight into the ergonomics of this bike, because I'm struggling. I'm 6'1", and this riding position is so aggressive and not in a good way. Pegs are really far behind me, kind of like right under my bum, just like the Street Fighter. The seat on this is kind of pitched up, which means my arse feels higher than handlebars. That's right, mate, you come out, don't worry about that indicator. So my bum feels really high and the handlebars feel really low. Jeez, that's a curb there, woman. Oh, the indicator does work. So I am not finding the ergonomics riding style of this bike comfortable at all. I'm finding I'm having to really kind of trying to hold my top half up, lift up my head a lot. Obviously I've got the GoPro on the front, so that does make the helmet a little bit heavier. I have got my day sack on. That's going to have about 10 kilos worth of weight in there. So I'm not the best dressed, i.e. camera and day sack, for a aggressive sports bike like this. We got this kind of massive old school like double bubble screen on the front. It feels like it's doing nothing. The wind is kind of hitting me like there, which is ridiculous because the screen is all the way over there. So when I'm going fast, I'm not in the bubble of this bike. Maybe it's me, maybe I'm just too big, maybe the skinnier, smaller people down here. Ain't gonna work for me, I'm afraid. Air temperature today is showing 27 degrees. It is absolutely scorching, and that has not helped with the heat of this exhaust hitting my right calf. Same with the Street Fighter. It's hot. It is very hot. It's kind of typical Ducati problem. Obviously I'm just riding around town at the minute, second gear, trying to hold it around 30 miles an hour. I'm going to take it out of sport. We've only got street, sport, race A or race B. So let's go street, see if that's any better. Because the throttle is quite aggressive, quite on-off, twitchy on this kind of slower speed city riding, which if you live in the UK, city speeds also means traffic riding. The Panigale V4 has got multiple different kind of model lines you can pick from, but the two main ones that the average Joe can afford is going to be this one with the standard V4, which is £22,300, or the next one up is the Panigale V4S. That's I think £27,500. So for an extra £5,000 you're going to be getting your electronic suspension, forged aluminium wheels, and a lithium ion battery. Mirrors, not only have they got to contend with the vibrations of this engine, so they are quite buzzy, but they're really flimsy. They're kind of bouncing around as I'm going around these back roads. Can't really see out of them. Once again, kind of pointless having them there. Moving on to the electronics on this bike then. Starting at the front, obviously LEDs all around, daytime running lights, they look beautiful. We have got self-cancelling indicators. We've got this 5-inch TF screen, same as the Street Fighter. It's not very intuitive to use. It could definitely do with a bit of refining. As I mentioned, there are the 4 rider modes: Street Sport, Race A, Race B. You can go along and adjust different parameters within each of those, i.e. the wheel control, engine braking, etc. etc. I used to own a Yamaha R1 several years ago, and on that we do a cruising around town type thing. You could sit up, have your hand on the handlebar, and comfortably kind of ride around. For me to be in a comfortable sat up position, I'm at like fingertips on the throttle, which obviously is not ideal. Got some twisties coming up, don't you worry. Those people that moan that I shouldn't be riding a bike in these locations or these speeds, welcome to the UK. We don't all get invited out to Spain to test the new Ducatis. This bike is definitely, in my eyes, a Sunday bike. Take it out for a couple of hours, enjoy it, put it back in the garage, go and get your GSA adventure bike out for the rest of the week. I am getting some neck ache already. Bearing in mind this bike has got less than 100 miles, everything's still kind of breaking in. The brakes on this aren't as sharp as the Street Fighter. I don't know whether the Street Fighter pads were broken in. These are a little bit more progressive. They're sharp when you start getting on them. I'm just on about that very initial pickup, that initial bite. Street Fighter was really aggressive. So here's some twisties. Let's see how this bike handles. These are tight twisties, I'd say. They're not like your flowing twisties. Quick. You can see where those 215 brake horsepower come from. I wouldn't particularly say this thing drops into the corners. Maybe I've been spoiled with naked bikes where they're handling just with those wide handlebars. It goes nicely, don't get me wrong. It is very smooth around the corners. Bear in mind that this has got the Brembo monoblock styling calipers. Yeah, super sharp when you do like get past that initial point, that initial bite. Getting a lot of heat between my legs. so verdict after the tight twisties. Oh, apologies, gonna open the visor a little bit, get some fresh air in here. It handles beautifully. It doesn't just drop like some of the other bikes out there. I'm not overly used to sports bikes anymore. I haven't really ridden them properly in a long time. I'm definitely more used to and more comfortable with the naked bikes and say having those big wide handlebars, top lifts, engine temp getting high, and I can feel it. Woo, my legs are hot. Oh. So the standard has only got the Showa fully adjustable forks and suspension around the back here. I am getting thrown about a bit on these back roads. Actually, the V4S will have the electronic suspension. Not sure how that would fare up in difference to the standard, but the standard, if I was to get this bike, I would definitely get this tuned for kind of my weight and size, because I ain't no skinny chicken. Oh. I'll tell you what, I am absolutely sweltering in this helmet. I'm going to find somewhere to pull over. We'll have a little walk around, look at some of the final features of this bike that I've missed off. I'll catch you when we find some shade. Well, before I even found somewhere to pull over, the fuel light has come on. So that leads me nicely to say that this bike has got a 17 litre fuel tank, obviously with no fuel gauge, just a fuel light. I don't know how many miles I'll be getting to this tank. I'd have to reset the trip. If I owned this bike, that's how I used to run with the R1. Fill it up, reset the trip, and when I got to around 100, 120 miles, I'd be looking to fill up, ideally before the fuel light come on. Even with the 17 litre fuel tank, this bike only weighs 198.5 kilos, which is light. You then get the V4S and get the lithium battery with the forged wheels, that's going to drop a little bit of weight again. It's so easy to go quick on this bike. It's funny, going up, the gears just seem to go on for days, but then if you're going slower and you're in the wrong gear, the bike will let you know it. It'll be... We got some faster flowing section coming up. See how it handles. Those are the type of roads that this bike absolutely loves, and this handles so well. My only real drama when you are picking up the speed, the bumps, when you do come across them, you feel it. You really do feel it. Just about made it in time before this ran out of fuel. It's got a seat height of 850mm. I'm 6'1", and I can't get both feet flat on the floor. Like I said, the seat pitched very high. Yeah, turn circle on this, like slow speed manoeuvring, is rubbish, just like all sports bikes. I'm not quite sure what the seat itself is made of. Feels like about 2 pieces of cardboard. My backside is not appreciating it. The only good thing with this being such an aggressive riding style where I'm so far forward, there's not particularly a lot of weight on the seat, apart from when I do things like this and sit up and try and take the strain off my wrists. Turns out there is no shade in the southwest today, so pulled over anyway. Starting at the front of the bike. Those are the daytime runner lights. Just look how mean they look. Love it. I've got here the winglets. Whether I personally get any use out of them, probably don't go fast enough, but I think they just make the look of the bike just even better, even like sharper lines. We've got this Ducati brake lever on the right hand side, nice little touch. Not sure if you can easily see, but the seat and this section here raises up, and that's what I mean by it's pushing you forward onto the handlebars. This part down here, exactly the same as the Street Fighter. This part of the exhaust is what's getting hot and making my calf burn. And just the heat in general today, it's not pleasant riding. Say 27 degrees air temperature, bike was getting hot, and in some of these back sections I was opening up as well. So frequent brakes if you're in a hot country on this bike is definitely required. I absolutely love the single-sided swing arm look. There's not really much else to cover on the bike. It's aggressive. You should know what you're buying when you're going to look at one of these bikes. Make sure you go and test ride it, because this may not be the bike for you. It is super, super aggressive, but it's an absolutely gorgeous bike. I'm getting way too hot, stood around talking about this bike. Let's get back on the road, start riding some more, and I'll give you my final thoughts and opinions on Ducati Panigale V4. For me personally, this bike is just way too aggressive. The riding style, the position, I feel like I'm too big for it. Also, I'm getting neck ache, so this would not be a great bike for me. Maybe if it was a Sunday only bike, take it out for a couple of hours, put it back in the garage. But this definitely could not be my only bike that I was to use weekly. The engine is fantastic. The brakes are really good once you get past that initial biting point for me. Suspension, I would need to get it tuned or look at getting the V4S. 215 brake, in my opinion, is too much for the road. UK, we can't ride it. There's potholes everywhere, there's traffic, there's cameras. You can't ride it slow comfortably. It just wants to go fast, and when it goes, by golly, she goes. I absolutely love the looks of these bikes though. So if I could have one just to sit in a little showcase cabinet in my house, 100% I would. Well, there we go, ladies and gents, thank you very much for watching. This has been my full ride review of the Ducati Panigale V4 for 2023. If you have enjoyed it, make sure you like the video. More importantly, subscribe to the channel, because we've got plenty more videos coming. What else there to say, apart from go have a nice lolly, and I'll see you on the next one. Ride safe.